Congressman Matt Gaetz is facing two challengers in his own party in today's primary. He has a big supporter in Donald Trump Jr., the president's son, who spoke with Peter Albrecht this afternoon. And Peter is joining us live from the newsroom. Peter, what did Trump Jr. have to say to you about Congressman Gaetz?
Well, he said he expects Gaetz to win, and he says he's been a faithful supporter of his father. He also predicted a Senate win in Alabama in November for Republican Tommy Tuberville. And he's confident of a Trump re-election for president, despite recent polls that show Trump trailing in key swing states like Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and even in a dead heat in southern states that Trump will have to win, like Florida and Georgia. Trump Jr. says he doesn't trust the polls because he says maybe not down here, but in other places that people are afraid to admit that they support Donald Trump.
I don't know that people are going to be all that apt to tell, a pollster the truth when they randomly call them. And we experienced that the same way in 2016, where if we did online polling versus telephone polling, the online polling, like you would be when you're alone by yourself in a voting booth, outperformed the regular polling by 15 points to large sample sizes. So I'm not so worried. I think in this day and age with the
And Trump Jr. pointed to the 2016 polls that had him behind, that had his father behind. Of course, those polls showed him trailing Hillary Clinton by about 2 to 3%, and that's how much she won the popular vote by. But those polls did not address the state-by-state electoral numbers, and really that is all that matters.
Peter, there has been a lot of talk about mail-in voting or absentee voting and a lot of controversy. That's something else you addressed today with Trump Jr.
It is, and Trump Jr. said his father and Republicans have no problem with absentee voting, where a voter requests a ballot, it's mailed out, it's filled out, and then it's returned. What they have a problem with is universal mail-in voting, where the ballots are sent out to all registered voters. They oppose that, not absentee balloting. And, of course, a lot of people are interested in those two options due to concerns about COVID-19 this fall.
Exactly. Okay, thank you so much, Peter.